Hello, I'm back. I'm once again jphpue, and again I'm playing an East title. This time a little older one, East 2 to be precise, and this time also I am not alone. I am joined by another runner of this game on the commentary, someone who knows the game inside and out and is gonna keep you company as I try to go through it. Rayo.
Yes. Yes, it is Rayo here. I was technically supposed to be racing JP for this run today, but due to circumstances, I am not home. I'm in an apartment Airbnb in southern Florida, so I am not able to race JP today. So it's just going to be him. But I'm happy enough to be here to at least give him the comfortability of not having to actually talk during the entire run, so he can focus on the game itself. So I'll be doing most of the talking. JP will jump in whenever he feels like to give something, but we're just going to start the game, and I'll let him start, and we'll go.
I'm gonna go a little bit of a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Let's just go.
Alrighty, good luck, JP.
Thank you.
So this is Ease 2. This is actually a direct, I believe the only technical direct sequel from the first game. This game takes place immediately after the first game when Adult beats Dark Fact and he is thrown into the actual island of Ease that is up in the sky. Once again, he's knocked unconscious and doesn't remember much, but the game starts normally going to have some cutscenes. So the primary way the game runs is exactly like the first game. It's a very just 2D up, down, left, right game. It's an action role-playing game, so everything is done in real time. Right now, all JP is going to be doing is he has to do a couple of small things in the town before we get into the base of the game. So we're gonna see him go to a couple of areas right off the bat. First, he's gonna come to this room at the upper right where it's the doctor's house. Basically, he's gonna set up himself up a small little quest to find the doctor that is trapped in the mine, which will be the first big area that we're gonna head to. And the nice thing is that these two fine nurses will help us give us some money that'll allow us to buy the first few items we need in order to actually fight. So the doctor here is just saying, find the main doctor, find the main doctor. Here's 300 gold. So we're gonna skip through the text. Now we're gonna go into the accessory store here, the item store, and we're gonna buy ourselves a wing. What the wing does is that allows you to return to any town or war point that you have visited so far. And that's gonna be a big help when we get to the end of the first Boston area. And now that we bought that, we're gonna go to the armory or the weapon store, and we're going to get ourselves the cheapest sword we could find, because an adventurer doesn't need that big of a sword. He doesn't need to show off. He's very good at just using what he has. So now we are almost all set up to start off. He's just going to talk to the mayor to be able to allow us to leave and start his adult adventuring. He's going to skip through some text, and then we're going to soon to be heading off into the ruins of Mundoria, which is almost like a tutorial section for the game for someone who might have never played a Ys game and is just starting with this one. So it has very few weak enemies. It's a very small area. JP is actually going to be starting off here. He's going to go to a specific section where he's just going to go back and forth, and he's just going to grind himself to get to at least close to level 4 before we can really start doing anything. And also, at the times, I'm going to try not to talk as much because I want everyone to enjoy how great the music is in all the Ys games. I mean, I don't think there's a single game where I haven't rocked out because all their music is fantastic. So JP again is he's killing these 5 enemies. The big red ones will give him 10 XP. The green ones will give 5, and he's just going to keep going. And it's going to be tough to know when he's close, at least on my end, because down below where it says experience, you can switch that in the options to either it's continuously growing or it tells you to the next level. So I think from here he's going to try to get close to, I think it's 200 or 300 XP.
200.
So it's 200. So he's going to go until he's about 20 away, kill that enemy, then come up here and kill these last 2. He should get level 4 right here, and then he's going to pick up the Road of Fruit. The Road of Fruit, at least for now, the item itself it fills up your entire magic bar, But for right now, it's actually a required item for the medicine that we're doing that we need in order to save someone from that first one we met when we first awoke. But we need to bring that to the doctor's office after saving the doctor later on. So now we're in the Sanctuary of Toll. Again, this will be the first main area, but we're not going to see a lot of it off the top right now. So in order to get out of the first area, you're going to see JP going into the Tomb of Hadal. There are, in the Ys series for the first 2 games and in the prequel Origins, there were 6 priests that protected the land of Ys. And in this game, obviously, they're long gone. The first one happened years before. But for this game, since we got the 6 books, we need to bring them back to the sanctuaries the sanctuary where they originally belonged. So he's doing the first one there, if at all, just to get out of the way. And now what JP is doing is that he needs to get to level 6 before the game allows you to be able to get the Rod of Divinity, which is probably the main item we're going to need throughout the game, because it's going to give him the ability to use magic. And magic is very important in this game, unlike the first game. But the first game is you're bumping into everything. And actually, I need to. One thing I forgot to mention is how the attacking works in this. If you played Ys 1, then you understand the concept. It's called bump attacks, where you just run into the enemy and you attack until they're dead. They improved it in this one to where you can attack anywhere on the enemy, and as long as they aren't making an attacking animation, you will always get the hit. So they made it a little easier to attack enemies in this game without the fear of getting wrecked. So since he got to level 6 there, you saw him kill those 2 enemies. You need to be level 6 in order to kill those rock creatures to get the rod. He went to that statue, which allows you it gives you the ability to have magic, which is that blue bar you see below his health, that's green. So now that he has the magic, he's at the right level, now it's time to go into the Rastrini mine, where pretty much where all of the other shrines live, but it's a giant maze mine. So it looks like it's just one door here, but sometimes you're going to start seeing double doors. It's not a very large maze, but it is easy to get confused, but it's not long areas to where you're going to get confused as often. So now we're heading into the second book, the Tomb of Tava. And you just give a long-winded text. And what's nice is that no matter how much magic or how much damage you take, once you reach a tomb and bring back their book, you get a free health refill. And you'll see that soon, because how magic works in this game is that if you use too much of it, the max amount of HP you can have will dwindle down as you go along. So you see how big his blue bar is now. Once he gets his first magic, which will be coming soon, which is the fire magic, it's going to slowly get smaller and smaller at max. Okay, so here JP is grabbing the Matic. The Matic will be needed in a couple of rooms. It's weird enough, it is an acquired item that is necessary in order to save the Doctor, because the Doctor is currently trapped basically in a caved-in section of the mine, in which he's going to actually be saving him immediately right now. And the worst thing about this edition of the Chronicles is that this little cutscene has to play. I know in the other remastered version that came out years before this one, you were allowed to be able to skip that whole talking animation. And Adult does the swing, and you can just leave. So now that he has the Matic, he saved the Doctor. He's now going to be heading on his way to find. Well, first he has to go to the third sanctuary, which I forget this one is Dabby. It's Dabby. Yep. And after he returns this book, he's now going to be going to get his first magic, the fire magic, which is essentially going to be your primary weapon outside of your bump attack for the rest of the game. And it also is very helpful because you can attack and fire your magic at the same time, which you can basically it's almost like doing double damage. So he's just going to kill this enemy. In this chest, we'll have the glorious fire magic. Now he's going to switch into it, and you'll soon see he's just going to be bumping into people and just throwing charge magic right into their faces without a problem. And they go down super fast. And then he's going to grab this little herb. The herb it gives you 50 HP refill, but you can only carry, I believe, either 3 or 4. They're primarily just used for the very final boss, Dulles, because he can be a bit of a pain due to his attacks, as well as his little barriers of rocks, as we'll see later on. None of you will be paying attention to the music because you'll be headbanging to the music, trust me. And we're going to have now the third grind that we're going to have for this game. He's just going in and out of this room, killing this enemy enough times until he gets to level 12, which looks like he is pretty close, but he's at a level 11 right now. I think it should be one more. There we go. And then he's going to go into this next part of the sanctuary. This time it's going to have two priests we need to go to get to, the Tomb of Gemma. And I don't remember the last one, but we'll see in a second. But this will be the 5th of 6 tombs that we're going to need to return the books to. Mesa, that's what it was. Okay, so we've done pretty much all that's required in terms of return the books of Ease. There is one left, but we cannot get to it from the mine because it is actually blocked off. If you try to find where the tomb is, you'll be blocked by debris that closes it off. But we will get to it shortly. Now, JP is on his way to the first boss of the game, Veligunda, who's a very simple boss. He has pretty much what you're seeing there, the spread out lasers. He just keeps firing at you. There's two ways you can kill him. You have the way that JP's doing it here. He got a few shots off when he opened his arms. The only way you can hurt him is by hitting his chest or head. And what JP is doing here is that he's actually destroying the arms and then makes him completely defenseless. There is another way where if you step out of the basically like the y-axis of the boss's left and right side and come back, he opened his arms again, but both work just as effectively. And he's not a very hard boss, and you saw JP take him down like it was nothing. Okay, so we are now at the end of the mine, and there are a few items that we need to get. First is the iron ore, which is just a free 3,000 gold that we're going to get. And then we're going to be grabbing the last item needed for the medicine right over here, the Seta flower. And also, as you can see, like you can see JP going out of his way to kill a few enemies. One, not just for experience, but he needs to remember to have 2,000 gold before he leaves the mine. Trust me, I know from a lot of experience, I've lost a lot of runs because I wouldn't have 2,000 gold. Because you need 5,000 before leaving here to grab the next sword upgrade that you will need for the Ice Ridge, or as we like to call Finland. So the Evil Bell, another item that's required. One is required to return the last book of Ease, as well as a few other necessary needs later on. So now here, he needs to be careful because there's a bunch of these little night enemies that will give you a bad day if you're not careful. There we go. We got all 4 items, and now he's going to use that wing he bought early on to return back to the Lance Village. And that's why it's important, because it's a long way to walk here. So this is our second and last visit to Lance Village. We are going back to the weapon shop to get the next upgrade, as well as sell the mine. The mine will give him 3,000. He has over 5,000, which allows him to buy the next sword, the Telwar. So he gets that. So we pretty much have the sword we're going to need for the next half an hour of the game. We don't get another sword upgrade until we reach... I can't remember the name of the town
Ramia.
off the top of my head.
Ramia.
That's what it's, Ramia. Yeah, Ramia. So now we are going to get all the ingredients we got along the way. You got the road fruit and the flower. With the doctor now being rescued, we can get the Lilia medicine, properly named, because Lily is the girl we're trying to save. Okay, and now he's going to go back to the first building he was in to meet the woman here. We're just going to have a small little talk. She's going to hand over the medicine. You're going to leave. You don't need to talk to her. Not that important. Walk out. We're going to have a small little cutscene. You're going to meet Lilia for the first time. She's going to be all disgruntled because she doesn't feel great. But then Mommy Dearest will come in, tell her, come in and take your medicine. And Lilia goes, okay. Don't worry, medicine will make you great. It makes you so great, it's going to make you feel like you can run a marathon. Trust me, she lets you know. There you go. You couldn't see it was really quick because JP wanted to skip past it because no one wants to know that she can run a marathon. Trust me, I run a marathon. She can't do it. It is not easy, especially for a 10-year-old. But there. with that, once you give her the medicine, you get the return magic, which which gives you the ability to, it's basically a permanent wing. You can go to any warp point that you have at least acquired. So I mean, right now it's kind of useless. You can only return to Lance Village. Okay, now for the last needed thing for the game to continue, you need to go into this guy's basement, because for some reason his basement houses the ability to get to the last tomb, the Tomb of Fact. But first, use the evil bell that you got, which allows the evil to break down the wall. So JP's going to do a very good safety save here, because you need to kill a ton of enemies, and they are super aggressive, especially those dangerous knights we saw earlier. So JP is just going to go up and down, killing all of these enemies. Because if you kill every enemy in here, as well as the 2 that are in the sanctuary, the game counts the quest as complete, and you get a massive amount of XP, especially early on. It's very needed. So just up and down, up and down, up and down. The game's going to give us a small little text dialogue saying that all the evil has left. So we're going to let JP focus here. Okay, it's looking good. I mean, I don't want to jinx anything, so I'm going to shut up before I even try to say anything else.
There we go.
There we go. There we go. I don't want to say anything because, like I said, they can wreck you in a heartbeat without even thinking. So he's going to make sure he kills that last enemy. I would be very safe. And, oh, he just got it. Ooh, you're going for a PB if you were killing him and then walking through the door at the same time.
Yeah, I can do it on the first one. You can do it on the first one if you're really good, but that's very hard.
But I usually just play it safe and kill him before I even get to the door. But there we go. We just talked to I can't remember his actual name, but his last name is Fact. He basically gives you the map and the ability to go into the next area. So we are completely done here, except for one small little time back. But for all intents and purposes, Lance Village is done for the game. We're going to go back into the mine, because you might have not seen it. There's a little door here that is now open, and this will give us the ability to go into the next area, the ice ridge of Naltia, or as we like to call it, Finland. You'll see it in a minute, but before that, we're going to have a small little cutscene where we're going to meet what we believe to be he's basically the main antagonist of the game, Dulce, who somehow is back after 700 years, because, he was one of the main villains in E's origins. But as we can see, he's a typical villain. He's just sitting in his little dungeon, watching over Adol. But then in the back, we see a shadowy figure in the little Jew there. But hey, either that, no matter what, welcome to Finland, everyone. Nice and cold and
kotiin. Oli kiva tavata.
But okay, so the ice ridge. The ice ridge is, I like to think of it as basically a more lit up mine. It's still every place we're going to go to is a maze, but these just have a bunch of little bridges and stairs we have to go through. So the first thing we have to do here, once we're here, is we need to grab what he just got there, the Blizzard Bulb. Because the game itself is pretty much split into like almost 3 or 4 large sections, but you cannot connect to any of the other ones until you find the Blizzard Bulb, which will create almost like an ice bridge that allows us to cross over into the next section. So he's making sure that he kills pretty much any enemy that he comes along, because he needs XP as it goes along. So now we can use the ice bulb, which allows us to create this nice little ice bridge. Here we're going to the second section. Now this is the primary area that we're going to be getting most of the items for the game. The first one we're going to be coming to is we're going to be coming to an item called the Hawk Idol. So there are 3 main idols, but the 2 we're going to use mostly is the first one here, which is the Hawk Idol. What the Hawk Idol does is that is essentially a homing device for your magic, specifically your fire magic, which when you have it turned on, it will track the nearest enemy. So even if you're not in line, it'll curve and turn to the enemy. As you just saw right there, GP decided to test it for us. And now we're just gonna, probably the worst part of the ice ridge, that you have to go through this little ice section where you have to destroy ice. It basically forces you to have to lose some of your magic as we go along. Okay, the second item here, we have the Alter Magic. The Alter Magic, it gives the ability for Adult to change into a Rue, which is extremely useful and necessary for the last half of the game when we get to the last area, the Temple of Ease. Yeah, we get the Marley Flower, which I don't actually think is as useful as needed to pick up. I'm not sure. Since all that item does is that it gives you some magic back. So I'm not sure if it's ever been necessary. I just had that thought yesterday. I had to speak out loud about it. But you saw there, he picked up another additional herb just in case. Again, we want to have at least 3 because it's going to make bells a lot easier at the end. And he picked up the last item before he warped out using the newly gotten return magic. He got the stone shoes. The stone shoes, I don't know. You did see a few of them where some of the stairs looked a little icy. The stone shoes allow you to walk up those icy sections, whereas if you didn't have the shoes, you would just slide back down. So he used the return magic here to get. It seems weird and counterintuitive to return back to the town to get back to the ice ridge. It's actually faster to do this because you have to walk all the way back to the beginning anyway. Because you need to go to the left side of the first area in order to get to a chest that has it's the anti-illusion mirror, which is a necessary item to get to the next boss, which is Tylemeth. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but Mr. Jumpy, as I call him. So you got the anti-illusion mirror, and now we're pretty much done with the ice bridge. We have all the necessary items. All we have to do now is just get to the boss. And the boss is going to be fairly close to where we just were before using the return magic. So now JP just has to remember how to get to where he just was. So not a very long area. A lot of these areas look larger than they really are, especially once you play the game once. And even dead ends aren't that far off from where you're supposed to go. So it's a very quick game to get through. I think the first time I played it took me maybe 4 or 5 hours. So not a long game, and it's not hard. And it's very hard to get lost. So again, JP just making sure he kills the enemies to make sure he's at a certain level. I believe it's level 20 you want to be before you get to Tylemeth.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so there he goes. He just hit level 20, so now he is good to go to kill the boss.
I also kind of follow an EXP route, so even though I'm proper level, I still want to get some extra. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad thing. There's been a few times I would get to the next area and be under leveled before I got to the boss. So it's not fun. So okay, we're gonna have the stone shoes. We're gonna go right here. You can have this door here, but be careful, it's fake. So he's gonna use the mirror on the door, and then the real door shows up. And now we're on to the second boss. Okay, just a safety save here. So Tylemeth, he's a very simple boss. He just has two attacks. He jumps your location as well as creating these little ice walls. So all you're going to do is when he's on the ground, just charge up a fire shot and just keep attacking him until he's dead. Easy as that. He's a very simple boss. And just as quickly as you leave Finland, appropriately enough, you enter Florida, or the moat of Burned Bless. Basically, you're basically like a volcano, fiery lava type location. Home of the worst character in all of the E series that we will see soon enough. But first off, we need to make a little detour. We're going to this. You would never notice this was here, but you have Rue's Nest. In order for that to open up, you have to use the evil bell for a Rue to show up, and then he disappears and you can go in. You're not doing anything else other than just creating the warp point, because that's going to be a warp point for the return magic. And also, this will be the first time where JP is going to start seeing a lot tougher enemies. But then also the fact that you're going to have, I'm not sure how it works, but sometimes some of these enemies end up as invisible. So you have to be careful there. And then, okay, so he's taking a specific road because he needs to find the actual town in the moat. Okay, so he's going to be killing these little scorpion guys that take way too much damage to kill, but they're not even the worst of it. taking one round. Yeah, it sucks that you have to kill. I mean, you don't have to kill these enemies, but they give a nice enough experience that it's just worth killing them. Here is the guys are the worst. Those little like armadillo bugger guys. If you're not a certain level, they take no damage, and even when you can hit them, they take the littlest amount of damage from your sword as possible. So we're gonna try to ignore them as best we can, and they love putting their face in your business all the time. Okay, so we're gonna kill these two scorpions, and then once we're through this door, we are in the colony of lava, which is another warp point. But JP here is gonna turn into a Rue because he needs to trick the guard here into telling you something. And then once he's finishing, he's gonna turn to Adult, and he's like, "Oh my God, it's you! It was you the whole time." So he's gonna tell you the story about what happened to his son and why he wasn't gonna trust you. It's because Dulz took your child and basically gave him an ultimatum: work for me and not Adult, or I will kill your son. Okay, so he's telling you, just please save my son. You say yes, because you have to continue the story, and you're a nice guy, and you love adventure. So it's even the whisper earrings. The earrings, it allows you to hear, it essentially just gives you better hearing, but you only use them once. Okay, so once you're done with that, we're gonna transport to the Ruse Nest, because we're gonna get the Rotor Fruit. We're getting a second one, because we already lost the first one. That one will actually be very useful at the end game, and the important item here is the Rotor Leaf. So he's going to equip the Rotor Leaf here, and when he does that, it actually gives you the protection from poison. So there's one specific room that you will have to go through in order to gain access to the next area, is the Rotor Leaf, because the entire room is poison, and it will kill you before you can even get out. So now JP is just taking the other route, the one he wasn't taking earlier. So I was telling you earlier that even if you're a certain level, you can damage them, but you saw how little the health is going down, so we're just going to push them out of the way and get to the door as quickly as possible. So he's going to kill these enemies, because these guys give pretty decent XP, but he needs to be careful because there's a lot of them, and they can hurt if they decide to make contact with you. So while he's on this side, he also needs to, before saving that guy's child on Tarf, he's actually going to be grabbing another item that's very important, the Black Pearl, which is an extremely important item in terms of Eve's lore, at least for the origins of the first two games. But it'll be very necessary to finish the game later on. So here we are. We're going to take the Black Pearl. And then JP here need to be a little careful, because a massive amount of fire enemies are going to pop up. Make sure he has to be careful to make sure he doesn't get sniped by their flames, because they do a good amount of damage. And now JP is going to make his way around to the last section of the game, where we get the worst escort mission in all of history. I will not say the actual term, but it's Hectarf. This is the worst character in the world. And you will see why in just a moment. First, we're going to have a little cutscene. You're going to find out that Tarf is actually with another thing. We don't know what it is, but apparently it's his friend Keith. But Keith will be nice enough to destroy the wall, as we'll see in a second. Okay. There we go. Keith has destroyed the wall.
Bandit. Bandit Keith, whatever.
And you see, you can only see for a second there, looked like a little bit of a monster. So we're really curious on why he was befriending a monster. But doesn't matter. He's helping Tarf get out, so that's all important. And so this is how bad Tarf is. Look how slow he walks. Look at his health. He gets stuck on any corner that's available. So JP's going to do a very important save here, and then hope that the big thing is this very first section, we need to make sure that both enemies do not come at you at the same time. Because yeah, you gotta go to the left side.
Yeah.
Because there's usually a scorpion below and that armadillo character up top, and there are sometimes they will both get aggroed. And, you know,
Tarf,
that happens.
please.
See, this is why we don't like Tarf. Tarf is the worst. He gets stuck on everything.
Oh, yes.
I mean, because it's only 2 rooms you need to go through. You need to go through this room and then the long hallway. Once you're past like the section he just passed there, you're pretty much fine. It's just those first little 2 parts. So, and the other thing is you have to wait for Tarf to be close enough to the door to go to the next room. If you're not close enough, the game goes, "What happened to Tarf?" And you need to go back.
And he usually just dies. He's in the middle of spawned enemies.
That too. So once those two Scorpions are dead, we are all set. We just need to get to this door, get Tarf close to the door, and then we just walk. You don't have to wait for him. You can walk right to the colony, and the cutscene will immediately play.
That's the last of Tarf.
Daddy, you found me. Yep. We wish it was the last of Tarf. Tarf is still up. He's a piece of crap. You'll see again why he is, because this isn't the first mistake he does. So we got a small little cutscene here. Now that Tarf has been saved, are you doing a safety save?
I'm gonna do a safety rest. Yes, I took a hit.
Not a bad idea considering your magic as well.
Yep.
Since it is a marathon, you don't have to worry too much about taking the safety, and it's a free rest. So take it while you can. Okay, so the door. So now we are done with the quest. Now it's on to fight the next boss, Galadi, or Galadi.
Potato Head.
Yeah, exactly, Mr. Potato Head. So the big thing here is you want to make sure you are level 26 before getting there, and you at least want to have, what is it? Is it 7,000 gold you want to have before the fight?
7,900.
Okay, is it 2,100 he gives? Okay.
You get 2k, but from the additional spawn you get 100. So.
Okay. And then we have our favorite enemy of the moat, these little fiery bubble guys. They're the worst because they are completely immune to fire, so you must do regular bump attack to kill him. But they give 100 gold. It's not the worst thing in the world. Just like that, along the way he just got level 26, so he's good for the fight. And then he's just gonna kill a couple more enemies just so he can have enough gold going into the boss. And plus, never a bad thing to get at least a little bit extra XP beforehand.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like he's good. Now we're into Galade. Probably the worst boss in the game, Mr. Potato Head with spiky teeth. So what JP's going to try to do here, he wants to try to keep him in the upper right-hand corner, or at least any corner, as long as possible, to be as far away as possible. So this guy's only weakness is hitting him in his mouth when it's open. But when he opens his mouth, brings out this nicely little worm thingamajigger that constantly tracks you up to a certain point, and then he recalls him back in, and then you just repeat that pattern over and over and over. So the fight is very mundane in terms of what happens. Roughly when I think it's roughly when he's about 75% done on his second bar of health, which he is at right now, he's going to release one of those fire-resistant bubble characters, which what makes it that a little tougher is that all of your fire will go towards him and not the boss. And the boss is very slow in moving, so when when his mouth is open, all your shots going to go to him. As you can see right now, he just appeared, and he's very slow, so he sticks around his head. And he's not firing just because that enemy is there, but he's below, so he might get some good hits.
No.
No, he's stuck inside.
Yeah.
And you can't even see him, that's the problem.
Yeah, this is
so
horrible.
He's gonna play it really slow.
Okay.
Okay, no, you're good. Once he's dead, you're not gonna see another one. So JP's gonna be a little careful here because Galati is not in his normal section, which can be a problem, but he should be okay. It's open, so now he can get some free hits. And then once he closes up, he's just gonna go back over and push him back over.
Oh.
But like I said, once that bubble creature is dead, he only gets one. He only shoots out one. So once that one is dead, your fight goes back to what it was before. Nothing too simple. Just keep dodging his little worm guy. Wait for his mouth to open, and then you fire away. So he should die in this round right here. One more shot and dead. There we go. Nice job.
Thanks. It was a very sketchy fight, but we managed, so...
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, and look at that. He barely has over 10,000 gold. But that's all you need. As long as you have 10,000, you're good. So now that we're out of the moat, we're going to be heading out and going to the second and last village of the game, the Ramya village, which is oh yeah, let's listen to that. Nice little calm music. But first thing we're going to do, we're going to go see this scantily clad weapon salesman. We're going to buy the strongest sword in the game, well, that we can buy, the hyper cutter. And that's all we're going to do. At least for here. So we're going to do a couple of little talking scenes that are coming up that are required. First, we need to go up to the guard and talk to him. He's going to tell you the story about what's been going on here. So the entirety of the game, I mean, we're technically about halfway through the game. The last half of this game literally all takes place in the next section, which is the Temple of Ease, which is just a massive castle, not a castle, but just the massive area that houses everything about the rest of the game. So we're going to have a small little cutscene here.
This section is pretty much one thing why I definitely appreciate having commentary. This game is very heavy on the memory overall, but this section in itself is a huge test.
Yeah, because like I said, the Temple of Ease is split into 6 sections, as well as also interconnected with, I believe, 3 sections of sewers, which are massive and large and dark and hard to see. So now the last part we need to do, we need to go to Hadat's house. He's going to give us, well, he agrees to help and gives you the lily shell, which will allow you to enter the temple. Before you enter this house, you start and pick up a crewberry. Crewberry is an item similar to the herb, but it's used for magic. You get 50 extra magic when you use it. I know originally in some of the runs, it was something I thought of a couple weeks ago, that we realized that we pick up the Rota fruit, which gives full magic power refill, but in the final fight we were using the crewberries, and which seemed a little odd because you're wasting time just constantly using them. But now we're gonna, but that's for another time in the run. Now we're entering the Temple of Ease. The big thing you have to do here, you must turn into a Rue, because our Rue is essentially like a villain, quote unquote, that work with the enemy here. So you have to become a Rue in order to gain entry. If you were Adol, they would attack you, and you'd have to, you'd have to leave and come back. So like I said, the Temple of Ease is split into 6 sections. We can't go to the left just yet because it is locked up. But first, we're going to be going to the right side, go to the Mesa section, because we need to grab ourselves a permit. The permit will allow us to go to the section that you would just pass here to the north, which is the fact section, which will allow us to get what's required to get to the left side of this massive area. And the other great thing about the Hawk Idol, I mentioned earlier how it's always homing, especially in the next section. A lot of these enemies I fairly quickly do a fire match, like homing, especially when you're on a different level, you can shoot and kill them and just get all of their juicy experience. Okay, so here we're going to change to a Rue again. Since the Rue is technically a bad guy, you're going to give us a permit or a pass, depending on what version you're playing. Here it's a pass. The pass just allows you to go to the north section that we just passed earlier.
Funny thing I noted, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Funny thing I noticed that the person giving the pass has actually a random name every time.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've never paid attention.
Yeah, same. I just noticed it for some baffling reason, but yeah, that's a fun.
Like, they needed to put RNG names on there, so like, I just put it here.
Yeah. But yeah.
So here we go. Okay, so now we're going to head up to the north section because we need to talk to this guard with the pass. He'll open the door for you, allowing you to the next section. The fact sector. So we're just going to be entering a small little door that's right there, as you can see there. Because in that area is housing a small little secret meeting, hence why we have all of the major guards here. So once again, we're going to turn to a room to allow us to be able to hear it with the whispered earrings. So it's a secret meeting, but the point of it is that you're going to be getting the password that allows you to open the gate to the west side of the temples. So he's going to return here because return is quicker to get back here. It's too long of a walk, so return to Rue. You always have to be a Rue every time you go through this door, no matter what. So now JP is going to now head to the left side. And JP made the mistake of going to the left instead of the right. Now he's going to make the nice big U around there. And now we enter the Tova sector. So become the Rue again, give him the password. The password will always be the first one, the Mika. So now what he's doing now is that he needs to find a specific item that you're not supposed to know about until a little later in the game, but we get it now because it's going to be used very shortly. And also you'll have the one and only time that you'll ever see the light magic ever be used. So light magic is obviously supposed to help you see a little better, but the light magic, at least for here, allows you the ability to see the sacred cup because it's usually invisible. What the sacred cup will do, as you'll see soon enough, is that it allows you to remove curses that are befelled on the person using specific water. And you'll see soon enough why we need it. But until then, we're just going to keep on adventuring and killing everything in our path. Now, this was when I was actually casually playing this. This was the hardest part for me because this is one of the few times the game doesn't tell you where you need to go. It's a giant maze, but you need to go into this room, and you're going to have a cutscene with Dulls. And funny enough, when I did it, I talked to him and then I left. In reality, you're supposed to just ignore him and walk. Of course, Dulls gets a little angry and turns you into a permanent Rue. So now you are stuck as a Rue. But the great thing is, you can still attack and you can still use magic. So what's the negative here? You're a cute furry animal. You basically become a furry.
For free?
But, yeah. So now we're in the sewers, or the subterranean canal. Basically a long, gigantic tunnel sewer canal that's all under the temple. So what is happening now is that he's going a specific way in order to get to this area here, but he doesn't want to cause the cutscene to happen. So as long as you can see that person, it opens up the warp point, which is the hideout for the rebels. And that way it's open because we have to return there shortly. What he does after getting that, he returns back to the village and he went to this house that you saw, to talk to him. Once he realizes who you really are and that you have the sacred cup, he's going to bring you to his little well to the bottom. And the well has special properties when used with the special cup, returns him back to Adal. And the good thing in a casual way, you can always return here and get a full health refill as well.
And it also refills your magic. It's pretty much the same as the Rue rest, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's literally just sleep. It's basically you get full HP, full magic refill, which is really nice.
Someone has to.
And at least this first time. Yeah, this first time it's nice because you don't have to walk up those stairs again. Okay, so now he's done with that. He's back to Adal. He's going to come to the hideaways, the runaways hideout, and he goes, "Oh, it's you." He goes, "Come on in. You coming in is completely safe and non-problematic. You're Adal. Nothing goes wrong with Adal's here." Also, I want to know how Lily gets here. You had to go through Finland and Florida to get here, and she got hit the right other problem. Oh! Trusting Adal was bad for everyone. Dulls has returned, and now they're all getting turned into stone. Good job, Adal. Sad for them. Okay. Now this is going to be the unfun part of the run, so if people like those short grinds that you were seeing earlier, get ready for the longest one in the game. So we need to get to a certain part of the sewers because we need to find we need to get an item called the silver pendant. But before we get to the silver pendant, we must grind to level 38, which takes quite a while because he is I think it's level 31 right now.
Yeah, 32.
Oh, sorry, level 32. So we need to get 6 levels before we can even continue going on. But luckily, there's a nice little section with 2 enemies that give a fair amount of XP, but it's just a constant kill those 2, respawn, and rinse and repeat, which is right here. These two enemies here, and it makes it tough because for the first two levels, they take quite a bit to kill. But once you're level 34, they die in a couple of hits.
And they have the flamethrower, which kills you in like
that's the other
millisecond.
thing. If you aggro them and don't kill them quick enough and one is free, they will charge up and shoot a massive... Actually, you just saw it there for a quick second. JP did a smart thing and actually left. Because if you move around, his flame shot moves around with you, so you have to wait. And if you're not careful, like he said, that those flames will do a massive amount of damage per frame. And and the big issue is here is that you don't have many opportunities to get health refills until the end of boss fights. So whatever health he's at the end of this, he's either need to regrind or he just needs to hope that he has a good fight.
And for the next boss, you want to go with maximum HP because it has some strats that involve you taking some damage. Therefore, if you get hit here, you will have to take that into consideration, and it will be a little bit slower.
And luckily, I believe JP and I were doing this the coming fight a little differently than like the world record until we realized that how we were shooting our fire at him was the wrong way. And then we also came up with a new strat where a lot of the runners would go in and just keep the magic they have and just work with that. And then I'd realized, like I mentioned earlier, we have the rotor fruit, which refills your magic all the way to the top. And then we have the crew berries, which only give you 50 each. Why not save just the rotor fruit for the boss fight and get some extra magic for this upcoming fight? Because having extra magic for the upcoming fight gives you the ability to do more damage early on, making the fight much, much shorter. I think it shortened my fight by, I believe, 30 seconds. Just because I don't have to wait for magic to refill constantly. Okay, so JP is just under 2 levels left to go. I'm not sure how far along he is to level 37.
26,500 total EXP is what I want to be.
Okay. Again, JP does the XP thing a lot different than I do. I go to the next level and he does just total, so he knows what number he's looking for. But I can just tell by it's small on my side, but I can see that he's at 37. So once he's close to level 38, he's going to start going towards the chest that houses the silver pendant and kill a couple more of these enemies that are farther along the way. I assume. Yeah, so once he starts walking, there we go. So he's at level 38. He knew he was going to get there before he got to the chest. And now he's going to go to the upper right-hand corner and get this chest, which has the silver pendant, which I'll explain in just a bit. Now he's going to warp back to Rami Village, and we are now going on to the first boss fight of the Temple of Ease, which is Drugar. I'll call him Drugar. It's close enough.
Close enough.
A giant spider that likes to shoot eggs and like blue missiles at you. But he's going to use the crew berries here to gain extra health. Now this boss is fairly simple. He just slowly tracks you. But he's going to stand close and just mash the attack. You can do it 3 times and then get out of the way. So this boss will go back and forth between the blue missiles and the Oh, you were.
Oh, come on! I think I. Oof.
Oh, you were cutting it close there.
Yeah, that was. I missed most of my shots.
Yeah, so like if you're down if you're down all the way to the bottom of the fight, he will hurt you, but he doesn't do like constant damage. So after you finish the fight, you find the statue. The statue is basically a war point depending on what pendant you're wearing. So he's using the silver pendant in order to get to a new section that's kind of disconnected to the actual temple area, the west and the east wing. They're still connected, but you can't get there without using the pendant. So it's just another set of rooms and hallways and walkways. So
I'm gonna do something and save here because I've died to these guys too many times in my practice.
yeah, so weird. You know they're there, but you always forget. So typically right here is going to take a small little detour, and he's going to go grab himself the battle shield. It's not necessary to get this, but the amount of armor it gives you, especially for trolls, is a savior and a half. As well as Zaba. Zaba can cause a little bit of problem. But just like any other door, you bring you right to the canal. So from here, you're gonna wrap around. You're gonna need to go find this. Again, everyone's able to travel.
Wait.
You're going the right way. Go back.
I was going right, yeah.
Right down. There you go.
That was...
So somehow, like I said, all these characters are able to freely move around this world, and you have to just destroy everything. But here's Keith. This is the guy that helped Tark early. It's the first time you're really seeing him. Yes, he's a magic creature. Gives you the floodgate key. He actually is human who was cursed, kind of like you. That's why he looks like a creature. So we get the floodgate key, and we're gonna warp back to the hideout, because where we need to go, it's closer to go from the hideout. So what we need to do now is that we need to lower the water in order to actually gain access to the other parts of the canal more freely, as well as being able to get the next set of items that we're going to need, which are pretty, and I also like the last set of items you're actually going to get in this game, except for one. So we get to this area, nice little side quest, you get some free XP. So if you can see, you can notice where the water was, it is now completely drained. So it just gives you access to be able to freely move around the entire canal. And JP here is just going to wrap around this section. You're going to get to this chest that's only available once the water's gone, which gives you the battle armor, which is, again, very useful for the upcoming fights. Probably the only time you really need to worry about getting armor, because for the most part, your regular defense is good enough. But once you're at endgame, you do need a little extra help. So now he is on his way. He needs to grab 2 more items along the way before we can get to the actual final grind of this game. So he's going to go to the lower left-hand section of this canal section. He's going to open up this chest to get the battle sword, which will be the second to last sword he'll get. And it's the last sword he'll really need to use until he's at the final 2 bosses. But from here, he's now going to go to make his way to the right side of the lower section. He's going to grab this chest, which houses the second idol that we're going to be using for attacking the Falcon idol. So what that does, it converts your attack into this ball of blue majestic loveliness. So not only does it do extra damage when you hit them, once it hits something, it breaks apart and creates 5 or 6 more chances of damage, like you can see right there. The worst part about this grind is you have 2 enemies here. You have these big magicians, which can only be kind of like the bubbles, can only be killed with you attacking them, and then you have the knights, which can be bumped and have the magic used. And again, another place we need to be very careful on taking too much damage, because again, you have a fight literally right after this once you reach level 45. But before he does that, he's going to need to go and open up the Goddess War Point, which is actually a very good safety point too, because every time you visit the goddesses, they give you a free health refill, similar to Rue's Nest and the well. So again, he's going to keep going back and forth until he reaches level 45, and then he'll be on his way to fighting Zava. Just remember, don't forget to get the war point.
Definitely not. been taking a lot of hits, so I decided to make an extra safety save. Okay,
Not a bad idea, especially in a marathon, especially in these first two ease games. That a death means you go to a save point, not a checkpoint. Yeah, and that's like I love these first two ease games, but it makes it tough in terms of deaths because, as I mentioned, deaths in ease 1 and 2 means you start back from a save point, whereas every other ease games, if you die, usually, I mean, if you're speedrunning the game, most of your deaths will happen at a boss fight. And in those games, if you die at a boss, you start at the boss, not a save point. So they're a lot more lenient in terms of deaths. Okay, so he just hit level 45. And now he's going to make his way over to the goddess's garden just so he can get the checkpoint. Or not checkpoint, the warp point, because he'll need to come here a few more times. And it looks like he's going to take the little safety refill. Not a bad idea. So you're gonna get some dialogue. They're gonna tell you, bring us the black pearl. And you're gonna get a nice little health refill. And now he's on his way to the third to last boss. We're gonna fight off against Zava, who is an interesting. It's a different boss fight than what we've seen so far. Because the boss itself, you do not directly hit until after a couple of things occur. So again, another safety save. So now we're off to Zava. And his big thing is that his little servants will turn into bats. So like I said, Zava stays in the background, and now you must destroy these bats that take a crap ton of hits. And you have to go through 3 cycles. So the first time you'll face off against 2 of his bats roaming around, then it'll be 3 and then 4. So they take a good amount of hits, and it's hard to hit them because if they're on the wrong side of Zava, your idol will then, instead of going after the bats, will start tracking Zava instead. And again, Zava is completely invincible in this fight. So that's why you see him never going even close to Zava. But then once the third round of bats are completed, then Zava comes out, releases 1 extra bat as a little guard for their magic, but then we'll start shooting flames and slowly walking towards you. Okay, here we go. JP is now on the last cycle of the bats. He completed 4. So the bullets don't hurt, but you have no iframes when they hit you. So if you get hit by 1, you can get hit concurrently, and you can take a good amount of damage if you're not careful.
Also, funny thing about this game's fights, you can exit the room, and if you exit the room during a fight and go back in, you start all over. You don't refill, enemy does. So.
Yep. Yeah, so here we go. We're on basically the final phase. As you can see, Zava is just throwing fireballs at you. The fireballs are actually random. That doesn't actually try to hit you. And that was actually a really clean Zava phase. Jesus, that was fast. Whew. Nice job on him.
Thanks.
Alrighty, here we go. Now we have to. We're basically now at end game essentially. So we see Maria. She's been captured. But here we now need to climb the actual little tower, little clock tower here, because we need to get up top before the ceremony complete. Which means if the bell rings 4 or 5 times, I forget now. But once the bell rings X amount of times, everyone is basically frozen and turned into stone. So we were trying to stop that from happening. Side note, it has to happen. It's part of the game. But we just passed the door. We're going to be returning to that because it has the important item to actually continue. Luckily, it fully reopens once you finish this section. So in this section here is completely linear, so you cannot get lost here. It's literally just follow the line. And then once you get up top here, you're gonna see Adele's cutscene's gonna happen. And sadly, Adele was too slow. So yappity yap. The bell will ring the final time. And everyone has turned to stone.
You hit the rock button.
There we go. Okay. Now, in order to... So everyone is... You don't see it, but everyone essentially is turned to stone on the island. What needs to happen now is that you must do a couple of things. You must collect the Dreaming Idol, which is going to be where we just passed earlier. So right here, this magic field is now gone. We're going to grab the Dreaming Idol. But in order for everything to work correctly, we need the Black Pearl. And the Black Pearl we left in the hands of Tarf. Well, first off, we need to go to the Goddess Palace to tell them you need the Black Pearl. So yeah, it's required that you come here at least twice. Once you brought the idol, bring the pearl, then come back when you get the pearl, and they do their voodoo magic. So now we're going to warp back to Ramia Village. And we need to talk to Tarf because we left the Black Pearl in Tarf's hands. Now, remember how I mentioned Tarf is a piece of crap? Well, guess what? He lost the Black Pearl somehow. Like, how do you lose his big ball of black that's just foams the size of you? But anywho, Tarf again being useless as usual. At least he understands where they might have put it, so we're gonna go find it. Luckily enough for us, it's in a very convenient spot because we've already been there before, where we had to learn the password where Zaba had that secret meeting. We just need to go back there because the pearl will be nicely sitting there with no one watching over it. Something as powerful as the Black Pearl in this world apparently doesn't need protection, no matter who has it. Yeah, you got me on that one. And it's nice that this time, every enemy just dies in one hit. It's beautiful. You just wreck them. See, the guards are already gone and dead. Okay, so there we go. We have the Black Pearl. He's going to warp back to the Goddess's Palace. Yeah, he's equipping the Dreaming Idol now because he will have to use it when he's back at the top of where the bell was. But here, the two what are they called? I'm forgetting what they were called now. Well, I mean, the god. Were they just considered the goddess of ease?
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget. Either way, they basically take the black pearl and combine it with the Dreaming Idol to give us the ability to stop the process of what Dulles is trying to do. And once again, we're gonna climb. Everyone loves to climb.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So as JP makes this climb, once he is at the top and uses the Dreaming Idol, he's only going to have pretty much 3 more things he's going to need to do for the entirety of the game. First of all, he needs the ability. He needs 2 things. He needs the ability to actually damage the final 2 bosses, and he needs the ability to get to them. So once he uses the Dreaming Idol here, he's going to then warp to the hideout. Oh no, I'm sorry. You are actually, I got it mixed up. So he's coming back to the Goddess Palaces because he's going to take a route that's going to lead us to, I believe, the is it the Clerica Sword? I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, the Clerica Sword, which is the sword that you need in order to damage Dulles as well as the final boss Darm.
Oh no, I do get damage. Yes. God dang it.
Oh no.
That's not good.
So the sword will be the last like actual like attack item. It's the strongest sword in the game. It's the last like actual upgrade he's gonna grab. It's being held by the man we saw in the cutscene when we first entered the village, Sada, who just happens to be just hanging around in the sewer for some reason. He must have gotten lost and just had no clue what to do. So he's just tucked over here in the bottom left-hand corner. After a little talk, he's just going to say, "You're cool enough, take my sword." And Adol goes, "I will take it because I'm an adventurer." So then after he gets the Clarius sword, he's not then going to warp back to the hideout, because everyone at the hideout is now unfrozen due to your actions with the Dreaming Idol. And we will talk to all 5 of these people here. And then once we are done with that, we will be given the second pendant that we need, the gold pendant, which is what is needed to gain access to the area where the end game is. Get a little cutscene where Keith shows up and just throws them a wing. But yeah, cool, whatever. Take this wing, I'm out of here. So they all head out. You get the gold pendant. The gold pendant works just like the silver pendant. We're gonna go where Druger was, where that warp point is. But we're gonna equip the gold pendant and touch the statue, and it's gonna warp us to another section of the sewer, which again leads us to a linear room that takes us to the best song in the game. I don't care what anyone says. Overdrive is the best song in this game. And I'm going to explain how the Dul's fight works, and then I'm going to let everyone just rock out to the song. So how Dul's fight works is that he's going to disappear and reappear. When he reappears, he's always going to be an X amount of distance away from you, and then he's going to have 4 rocks circling around him, and he's also going to shoot at some bullets at the start. After you hit him, he's going to stay there for like a second or two. You're going to try to hit him 2, maybe 3 times, but at least 2. And then after that, he's going to disappear. His rocks are going to fly around, and then it's just going to be rinse and repeat. So let's see how JP does. Let's rock out and let him focus here. This looks simple, but it is a tough fight because he hits hard.
And I took damage already, so I have a handicap here.
Yeah, you're fine. Okay, you got 2. So as you can see, it's almost like the rocks have a gravitational field around Dal's. And once he disappears, they kind of like do their own thing. And they come towards you. And like Dal's has a lot of HP. As you can see, when you have more than 1 bar, it just gives you a second shade above the red. So he basically has 2 full bars of health coming here.
Oh, God.
If you want to play crazy, you try to attack him when he's shooting his missiles, but more times than not, we're just gonna wait until his shots are done. That way you have a clean shot to him. And if you can get him in a corner, it's usually a free 3 hits, but again, if you only get him twice per time, you're pretty okay. But did you use all your herbs already?
Yep. This is kind of sketchy. I really have to concentrate.
Yeah, just take.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear.
It's not looking good. This might need another take. Okay, 3 hits, that's good.
That 3, okay, there you go, okay. Again, if I'm in this position, I usually just, wait and take the 2 free and go. Okay. One more cycle and should be basically hooping through. Ooh, nice.
Wow, that's... It's not over yet, though.
Nope, he's got 2 hits left. And there we go. Nice job. That was close. Alrighty, so yeah. And once he's done, you're gonna go into the little jewel thing, go through. Make sure to grab that chest, because that chest has the most important item needed for the game, the shield magic. The shield magic is basically when you're in the final section of the boss, anything that hits you will take magic points away from those hits instead of HP, as long as shield magic is on. And everything in the final boss hits hard. So this, what we're in now is considered like it's the center of Ys. Basically, every Ys games has like some highly advanced special area that looks much different than the entire game, like it's some advanced civilization. This game is no different. And we're just going through a linear section. We're going to find Lilia again because somehow every character can get far ahead of you. And she's going to give you the Goddess Ring. The Goddess Ring has two properties. One is going to open up the wall of electricity you saw below, as well as on a timed interval will lock Darm into his spot, allowing you for free hits where there's no knockback damage. But first, we actually need to be transported. If anyone has ever played Ys 1, that room you were just in will look familiar. That is actually where the bad boss is in Ys 1. And in that game, you can see the door that's the left door that's there, and it's locked, and you can't go through. Well, it's because this is where Darm is being held. And we're going to have our good buddy Goban come by, the leader of the thieves from Ys 1. He's going to give you the silver harmonica. Because how do you open a spectral door of a 700-plus-year-old entity that wants to destroy the land of Ys in the world? Well, you open it up by you playing a harmonica.
Yeah. Falcom has a fetish for harmonicas, so you have that somewhere.
and also it actually unleashes the Fina and Freya, allowing them to help you fully open up the door to get your way onto the final boss in Darm. First, okay, we're gonna get a nice little light show of bubbles because they really want to show their particle effects. And magic door open. Okay, we're at endgame. We're at the final boss. Gonna go through this little cutscene. JP's gonna make sure that his shield magic is equipped as well as hair, and he's probably gonna do a safety save just in case. This fight is not very hard. Darm is a very simple boss. He has 2 full bars of health, but since you have shield magic on, you're pretty much invincible the entire fight. So he has a few attacks in each phase. The first one, he's always going to release these balls that shoot these weird lasers. And as you can see, the redness, like the red rings that went around Darm, that's from the Goddess Ring, like pausing him for just a moment. It gives you the ability to just hit him a ton. And he wants to make sure that Darm is somewhere around the battlefield, because there are times Darm can go too far up and he's out of reach. There we go. So once that ring's there, he's going to get free hits. And then once Darm is roughly around 60% done, he's just become the ball, and he's going to get some wings. And then he's going to gain a couple of extra new attacks. One is the massive laser, as you see there, and then a massive ring of little, like, yellow bullets.
Ah, Goddess Ring jerked me.
Oh, he got... Oh, Darm went in the middle. But again, he's just going to make sure to be careful of his magic, because once his magic is drained, he can take massive damage. Okay, good position for that. He's almost done. It's going to be probably a couple more hits, plus if we can get him in good position for the Goddess Ring, we should be good.
And the hitbox is kind of wonky.
Yeah, the hitbox with this guy is super short, but anyway, he is dead. He is done. That is game. Adel once again has adventured his way in saving not only Asteria, but the world itself. I will say, I would not like to live in the land where Adel lives, because it seems like every small place he goes to has some world-ending entity that's like godlike.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the game. Congrats, JP. That was a good run. You clutched out that Dal's fight.
There was plenty of clutch moments, so that was at least interesting to run. And it's pretty good. I got a PB of 12:02 like last week, so that's pretty close. Not gonna lie.
Nice. What was your time?
12:31. So 1 hour 12:31. So it's this.
Nice.
I think the estimate was like 1 hour 30, because starting out my PB was like 120 and yours was I think it was like 18, yeah. And so we were like, if we're gonna race this, we're gonna have an estimate. high enough to
Yeah, and you,
go for the
yeah,
tension,
because
but yeah.
yeah, for those here who don't know, I mean, like, because JP and I had been away from the game for about a year. I had offered to do the run because I had 3 minutes saving my PB, and JP, once he came back and I had shown him a few things that he wasn't realizing, he just destroyed his time. Like, you
Yeah.
dropped it 9 minutes in like a week and a half.
Yeah, a couple of weeks experience, like routing and the things you came up with, Trugar, and overall just bringing those everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna if you keep it up, you'll podium very quickly.
Yeah,
You're close enough already. You're like 28 seconds away, and you had a PB that was there.
Yeah.
So
We're
a chance that was there.
Yeah, but Dal's
So you will get there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But hey, I'm gonna give a huge
awesome.
shout out to you for coming up here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad I couldn't race, but I was glad I was able to at least be
Yeah.
here and commentate while you did the run.
Yeah, that was hugely appreciated, and this I would have had a way more rough time with this game if you hadn't been here. So thank you so much, and also
Yeah,
once
you're
again
welcome.
shout out to speedrunners and scored an overall. I saw some names there, so everyone got your shout out. Definitely, if you want to find a nice little franchise to run, this is definitely it. But yeah,
Or even that, I would say people should play this casually because the entire
Definitely.
there is not a I mean, outside of 5, but that if you're playing the entries that came to America in Europe, the entire series is good. You won't find a bad game.
yeah. 5 is something no one speaks of, but there's a reason.
But I'm good on my end. I don't know if you have anything else to say, JP.
No, I think I've said pretty much all. We just casually came, destroyed the schedule, now we're leaving. And that's not the last you'll see of me, because I'm gonna be doing Mighty Number 9 race with Tempest pretty soon.
Yes.
So
Good luck to you with the rest of your runs. I am done for the weekend. I'll catch everyone in chat. I hope everyone has a great rest of their weekend and enjoy the rest of the runs.
take care.